Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto was sealed because he was too powerful, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Ugh, okay, I guess I still can't use all of my jutsu yet. The previous night Naruto had exhausted himself trying one of his more upper tier ninjutsu. Waking up in his own bed he realized that Tsunade must have been spying on him again. Naruto chuckled, hey, I wonder if she saw that one. Naruto jumped out of bed and tripped over a black bundle at the foot of his bed. As it groaned he realized who it was, Shizune-san. What are you doing here? Shizune's hazy eyes opened and widened as she jumped up, surprising the blonde, Tsunade-sama. Where is she? Naruto grabbed Shizune to calm her down. Hold on a second, just wait. You're saying she did this to you? Shizune stopped stirring and rested in his arms, though he felt her breathing was still frantic. Naruto sighed and let her go. Shizune immediately made for the window. We have to find Tsunade-sama. It might be too late to stop her. As Shizune left through the window, a kunai buried itself to the right of her head into a wall. They both turned to see Jiraiya standing on the ledge uneasily. Where's Tsunade? His voice held a threatening tone as he slinked along the wall up to Naruto and Shizune. Naruto took note of Jiraiya's condition. Zero-Senin, what the hell happened to you? Jiraiya sat on the ledge and experimentally flexed his arms. Tsunade drugged me last night. I should have known better. She wasn't as pissy as she usually was when she drank with me. Naruto's attention was drawn up at an adjacent rooftop. But when he peered up he saw nothing. Shizune had gone to fetch Jiraiya an antidote to whatever Jiraiya had ailing him. She ran back and handed Jiraiya a glass of water and some crushed up pills. Sorry Jiraiya-sama, there isn't an antidote to the poison, this should even you out though. Jiraiya took the pills and swallowed them with the water. Thank you Shizune. When Naruto's attention returned to the roof he could no longer sense anyone's presence. Naruto looked at Shizune. It's Orochimaru, isn't it? Shizune looked surprised. Naruto looked over to Jiraiya. How you feeling Zero-Senin? Jiraiya crushed the glass in his hands. It's not much. My chakra is still fluctuating, but it'll have to do. Shizune looked down sadly. Orochimaru came to us last week with an offer. Restore his arms and he'll return Tsunade-sama's most precious people to her from the dead. She looked at Jiraiya hopefully. Today is the day they meet, we might still be able to keep her from doing it. Jiraiya stood. So how are we going to find her? Shizune grabbed Tun-Tun and jumped to the ground before placing the small pig onto the ground. We need your help Tun-Tun. Can you find Tsunade-sama for us? The pig oinked as it sniffed at the ground. Jiraiya and Naruto dropped down around them just as Tun-Tun began oinking wildly at Shizune. Shizune turned to the other two with her. Tun-Tun has her scent. Come on, it's this way. They returned to the area of the ruined castle and found even more signs of destruction, though they were newer. Naruto smiled at the sight of the pulverized wall. It looks like the old bat turned him down. Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, that might not be so good for her though. Come on, we still have to find her. As they ran into a field they found Tsunade being beaten by Kabuto. Shizune shouted for her mistress as she ran over to her side. Tsunade-sama. Naruto and Jiraiya waited close by as Shizune took out a handkerchief and wiped blood from Tsunade's face. Naruto looked at the scene in confusion. Zero-Senin, what's going on here? Is it a genjutsu or something? Jiraiya shook his head in the negative. Tsunade has hemophobia. She's afraid of blood kid, even the sight of it messes her up and makes her like that. Right now she's utterly useless. Naruto looked out at Orochimaru, whose arms were wrapped up, but Naruto could see faint traces of blood coming through. Next to him was Kabuto who was wearing a headband with a musical note on it. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the sight. Kabuto Yakushi, I can't say it's good to see you again. At least I know my information was right, I just wish I could have gotten your ass before the invasion, damn seal. Jiraiya looked down at the now fuming blonde. Calm kid, I said I was sorry. Hindsight is 20/20 they always say. Orochimaru chuckled as he saw the arrival of his third teammate, Jiraiya, and Naruto-kun too. What a warm reunion this is. Though I do no wonder what you are doing here. Jiraiya held his arm out in front of Naruto, keeping him from beginning to engage the enemy, protect Tsunade. Orochimaru is too much for you, and that Kabuto kid is out of your league also, it would take an Anbu. Jiraiya trailed off as he looked down at Naruto, who was giving him a deadpan look, trying to be funny old man. Jiraiya sighed and waved. Fine, Shizune can watch over Tsunade, I guess. Go ahead and fight Specs over there, I'll handle Orochimaru. Orochimaru heard this and chuckled. You'll handle me, Jiraiya. You were always the weakest of the Sannin, even handicap you can't beat me. And sending your little blonde against Kabuto here, you must not like him too much. Jiraiya looked back at Shizune. Can you keep an eye on Tsunade? Me and the Gaki will handle the snake and his flunky. Shizune nodded and returned to trying to calm Tsunade down. You ready, brat? Jiraiya looked over at Naruto, who smiled up at him angrily. This one's for Sarutobi-sensei. Naruto snorted. You can make it for the old man if you want. This one's for the heavy douche sitching those 5 sucked up cursed seal assholes on me when he chased me out of Oto. That son of a bitch with the bones wasn't a joke, I've still got a gripe with him. Kabuto now. Kabuto pulled the bandages off of one of Orochimaru's arms and ran his own blood down the summoning tattoo on it, Kuchio's no jutsu, summoning jutsu. Kabuto and Orochimaru then stood atop 3 rampaging snakes, heading towards Naruto and Jiraiya. Jiraiya went to summon himself, and in a small puff of smoke Gamakichi was revealed. Oh, hey. Good to see you again. Naruto's sweat dropped. Seriously. I could do better than that. Come on, this is serious. Gaki. Room. Naruto moved back as Jiraiya made a set of hand signs and slammed his hands on the ground. Doton, Yomi Numa, Earth Release, Swamp of the Underworld. The ground in front of him turned into a dark murky substance, trapping the snakes within, disabling their movement. Jiraiya audibly cursed. Damn it. It isn't very deep at all. I must still be under the effects of Tsunade's drug. Naruto shook his head. Manero Sennin, you sure do suck today. Come on, we don't need any help right now anyway. Naruto turned to Gamakichi. Go over to the lady in black and the blonde woman and stay put. This won't be a nice battle. Gamakichi hopped off as the battle stalemated. Jiraiya and Naruto both launched out at their chosen opponents, who broke off to confront them separately. Jiraiya began assaulting Orochimaru, who was noticeably unable to attack using his arms, instead lashing out with kicks and slipping away from Jiraiya's assault. Jiraiya decided to tease his former teammate. Man, it must be hard to use jutsu with no arms, eh? That must suck for a guy like you, Orochimaru. Orochimaru gave a superior smirk. I don't even need my arms to destroy you, Jiraiya. I saw your weak jutsu, you're just as bad as me. Jiraiya barked out a laugh. I guess that's true as well. I guess we're just going to have to wait for our retainers to finish off their little speck of business before we can really get to the main event. Orochimaru laughed slowly. The Kyuubi child Jiraiya. I've seen what he can do. Against Kabuto he has no chance, the boy has absolutely no skill as a shinobi. Jiraiya gave a big grin, and that would be my fault. But don't worry, Rochi, I fixed him up before we even got to this town. I'm letting him fight Kabuto down there because I know he'll win. Consider this his coming out party, so to speak. Orochimaru looked befuddled. I fought him, Jiraiya. Even going as hard as he could, Kyuubi's chakra and all, he didn't come close to impressing me. Now the Uchiha, what strength. A true genius. Jiraiya broke down in laughter. I guess the standards for a genius are seriously declining these days. If just being a genin at the regular age makes you a genius, then I don't know what the hell to call Naruto. Orochimaru gave a cruel grin. How about failure? Loser. Cannon fodder. Frontline trash. Take your pick or make a few more of your own. Jiraiya had a placid smile on his face as he just stared at Orochimaru. Ah, that's a good one. Orochimaru contorted his face in confusion. What are you talking about? Jiraiya gave him a hard look. That face of yours just now. I want to remember it for later. Just so I can compare it to the look on your face after you see what the Gaki can really do. Naruto faced off with Kabuto a distance away from where Orochimaru and Jiraiya were currently in conflict. Kabuto crossed his arms, a decided superior smirk on his face. You might want to leave this place before things get messy, you're a little out of your element here. Orochimaru-sama, myself, Jiraiya, Tsunade, even the woman with Tsunade. All of us are high-level shinobi. I myself am on par with Kakashi Hatake. And you're just a cute little Gen and that's out of his place. Naruto started chuckling, but then chuckling gave way to full-blown laughter. Ha, man, I'm glad I didn't end up broken like everybody else in NE, because hearing that little, threatening, rundown was too much. You. Comparable to Kakashi Hatake. I'll believe it when I feel it. Naruto pointed back in Tsunde's general direction. I already beat Tsunade the other day. I could have killed her if I wanted to. Knowing she's got hemophobia would have easier than it was. He pointed in the direction of the trapped snakes. Orochimaru is crippled. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch for me to beat him too, especially if he's underestimating me like you. Kabuto laughed loudly, to be naive genin, believing that you can fight and defeat anyone. Naruto scratched his head, how to get you to understand. Okay, you obviously remember 4 years ago when one of Otogaku's bases got sacked and Orochimaru sent out his elite bodyguards to handle the intrusion. Kabuto nodded. Those fools were punished for allowing the intruder to escape. A spy-like that could have been detrimental to our efforts. They haven't failed since. Kabuto's eyes snapped open wide. Wait. Are you really saying? There's no way, you would have had to have been 8 years old. Naruto grinned widely. Ding 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 ding. Got it in one Kabu team. It was me. I'd have gotten away clean too if it wasn't for Ero Sennin's love for dramatic bullshit. Who blows up the information depot during a reconnaissance mission? Honestly, how is that stealth? Kabuto pointed at him accusingly. No way. From what I've seen and from the information on you, you're nothing. A low-level genin. Naruto chuckled. Well, that's what the Konoha records had on one Kabuto Yakushi also, if you'll recall. We all know how that turned out, right, Mr. Spy? If you were capable of it, then why wouldn't I be? I didn't even have to join any ranks and keep suspicion off like you did. All I had to do was not get caught. Naruto tapped his finger on his head. I had the plans for your invasion all up here way back then. Every move you had planned out over the long term was all up here. All of your bases, the info that was listed on your cursed seal, the true nature of Orochimaru's immortality jutsu, it's all here. The only reason your invasion had even half of a chance of even getting off of the ground was because of some unfortunate business that ended with me getting my memory and abilities sealed off before I could tell the necessary people. Kabuto tilted his glasses and scoffed. Well then, Naruto-kun, please show me these skills of yours that allowed you to breach our defenses. I'm in need of a new form of entertainment after all. Naruto nodded sagely. RIC. I guess it would get boring being Orochimaru's ass muppet after a while. Playing hide the trouser snake would get dull even for a flaming fruit like you, I assume. Kabuto gritted his teeth in anger. Do not slander Orochimaru-sama like that. What could you possibly know about his power? Naruto grinned. Hey, being a pedophilic creep doesn't mean he's weak, and from the way you're defending him it sounds like a fucking lie to me, boy. And don't think I didn't notice how you refrained from defending yourself either. Kabuto rushed in at Naruto, who set himself in a defensive stance. Kabuto's hands glowed blue as he neared closer. Naruto dodged his first attacks and kicked him back to get some distance between them. Chakra scalpels, I see. You're medic ninja. Letting you in close wouldn't be too favorable as long as you're using that. Kabuto chuckled. Try to keep me away then, Naruto-kun. Kabuto rushed back in and engaged Naruto close up once more. Naruto ducked out of the way of Kabuto's attack, choosing to slip under and around his punches rather than block, lest his muscle tendons and other internal things in his arms be cut. He also had to watch it when he threw a punch or kick of his own to make sure that Kabuto didn't cut anything by simply blocking or parrying his moves. Naruto dodged even more of Kabuto's potentially fatal strikes, grunting in effort. You're really annoying to fight. You're really fast, even for a medic nin. Kabuto's confident smirk returned. Like I said, Naruto-kun, you're all talk. You're not on my level. Kabuto overextended on one of his attacks and allowed Naruto to spring out of close range. Naruto immediately began tossing out kunai at Kabuto, who dodged deftly and chuckled. Simple kunai, Naruto-kun. That honestly can't be your best. Naruto rolled his eyes. There you go again, with that superiority thing of yours. Why are bad guys such douchebags? Naruto rolled through a series of hand signs. Raiten, Denkai, lightning release, electric field. Kabuto sat in place as he felt and saw nothing. Naruto simply stood in place, staring at Kabuto with cold blue eyes that seemed to analyze his every movement. Kabuto simply strolled forward. You must not have that jutsu down quite yet, Naruto-kun. Don't worry, I mean you are still just a genin after all. Naruto's eyes showed no indication that he had even acknowledged Kabuto's words. Kabuto shrugged and strolled forward, reactivating his chakra scalpels once more, until a sharp jolt of electricity thrusted him backwards. What is this? Didn't you hear me call out the jutsu? Naruto kept his gaze on Kabuto, only this time he had a smirk on his face. You didn't really think that I was that bad at using kunai, did you? Kabuto turned to see a small spark of electricity coming from one of the kunai. He then noticed that the weapons Naruto had thrown were strewn about in a rough circle around him, a barrier jutsu. I really have been underestimating you. Naruto made more hand signs. I'm not done yet. From here I can branch off into tons of stuff, just watch. Raiten, Denki Mehemu, lightning release, electric mayhem. Kabuto heard multiple snaps of electricity going off around him before a burning jolt hit his body. As he caught his breath from the sudden zap, he could actually see random pulses of lightning rushing from kunai to kunai. Another shot hit him and dropped him to the ground while he was analyzing the jutsu. Kabuto was breathing raggedly as he turned his head towards Naruto, whose hands were held out at the field surrounding Kabuto. Do you like it? This jutsu lets me just trap and torment you in there until you black out or just die. The more chakra I pump into it, the more frequent the bursts of electricity will come. The only thing is that I can't control the lightning coursing through the field, but it still has a great chance of hitting you, as you've felt. Naruto channeled more chakra into his attack, forcing the snapping sounds of electricity to sound off more frequently. Kabuto shakily rose to his feet once more but was quickly struck back down. Before he could even try to rise again, he was hit one more time. Kabuto growled to himself and sunk into the ground before another bolt could hit him. Naruto simply stood in a position to move quickly and jumped aside as Kabuto's hands emerged from the ground to grab at his legs. Naruto landed and formed three cage bunshin who swarmed around Kabuto, launching attacks up close. Kabuto had somehow recovered enough from being electrocuted to fend off and dispel the bunshin without too much trouble. Kabuto looked at Naruto, who was once more giving him a cold stare. That was a pretty effective jutsu, Naruto-kun. If I couldn't dig my way out, I don't know how I would have escaped it. Kabuto's hands glowed green as he ran them over his torso to heal himself. You're quite a troublesome opponent. Naruto tapped his foot impatiently while Kabuto healed. Well, while you're doing that, Naruto made more hand signs and thrusted his fists out at Kabuto. Fuyuten, Fujinseiken, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God. A visible ripple of air flew at Kabuto and hit him like a high-speed cart, sending him flying back, rolling head over heels bonelessly until he came to a stop. Naruto smirked as he saw Kabuto cease his backwards movement. You still alive over there? Kabuto stood up once more with blood trailing down his chin. That was a solid hit there, Naruto-kun. I was right, you are a troublesome opponent. Naruto scoffed at Kabuto's pseudo-praise. Oh really? I thought I was just a genin that was out of his element. If all it took to get your praise was an ass-kicking, then when I go back to Konoha I guess I'll have to start dealing them out en masse. Shizune had cleaned the blood from Tsunde's face quickly but found that she was still lacking response. She had taken to watching Naruto fight Kabuto, seeing as how Jiraiya and Orochimaru were too far away to find and that she didn't know whether or not Naruto would require her backup. Much to her surprise and delight, however, Naruto was capable of handling Kabuto handily. Were it not for the fact that Kabuto was a medic ninja, she was sure that the accumulated damage of Naruto's attacks would have beaten him. Tsunede's eyes had been affixed straight ahead ever since Kabuto had splattered her with blood, so she actually had been watching Naruto fight Kabuto the entire time. Watching him fight off the silver-haired medic, she realized that she had been extremely wrong in her first impressions of him. He shot his mouth off when they first met, not because he was too confident in his own abilities, but because he found her pathetic. He truly did. Someone with such a famous name, such a famous lineage, and such talent and legend known around the elemental nations was so bitter and disenfranchised. So much so that she let her skills fade enough for someone like himself to get the better of her. That shouldn't have happened, no matter how dangerous he was. When she had seen him train for the entire week, she had been amazed. His attempt to use a range of high-level techniques was something she had never seen from a boy so young. After he was done with one, he would move right on to the next one. If he couldn't get one to work, he would attempt it until he could force it or until he dropped out of exhaustion. The spark she could see in his blue eyes while he trained was the antithesis of what could be found in him in battle. In training he would laugh, chuckle, crack jokes at himself and show his spirit and emotion. In battle he kept things bottled, only choosing to take snide verbal shots at his opponents to get the upper hand. She had to rub her eyes a few times as she watched him train, because his actions in training reminded her so much of her deceased younger brother Nawaki. Gamakichi hopped on her shoulder and looked out at the fight excitedly. Man, my bro is kicking ass out there. She unconsciously clinched her fist around her necklace as the battle carried on. Maybe, just one more time, she could believe in someone. Kabuto pulled out a hook kunai. As enlightening as our little skirmish has been, Naruto-kun, it's time I put an end to this. Orochimaru-sama is a busy man, we all have work to do. Naruto nodded and pointed back at Tsunade. Yep, I agree. Right now I have to go drag Bar-chan back to Konoha. But I also have a bet to win. Luckily for me, you're going to help me with that. Naruto snapped his fingers as two pairs of arms shot up from the ground and grabbed Kabuto's legs and arms, holding him in place. Kabuto tried to shake him off, but the grip was iron. What is this? A familiar voice sounded off from behind where he was grabbed. He turned slightly to face the cold eyes of the boy that was also facing off against him across the field. You didn't think you were the only one who could use Doton, Moguraga no Jutsu, Earth Release, Hidden Mole Jutsu, did you? Kabuto looked ahead of him to see Naruto smirking. Now I've got this new jutsu I was taught, but I never got to use it on any real people before. I think you'll make the perfect guinea pig for me, don't you think? With your healing abilities you should be fine, maybe. Mare, it's not like I really care anyway. Naruto charged up chakra into his hand. Kabuto's eyes widened and his struggling increased as he realized just what it was as a blue spinning orb took shape in Naruto's grasp. Naruto strode towards him slowly, the stride turned into a jog and the jog into a sprint as he rushed at Kabuto. He thrusted the attack out and into the exposed body of Kabuto, Rasengan. Naruto ignored the blood flying as the attack tore into Kabuto's body and sent him flying off into a nearby boulder. Naruto turned towards Tsunade and walked with a purpose over to her and Shizune. When he got close, a goofy grin appeared on his face. I do believe you owe me that necklace of yours, Bar-chan. Orochimaru's jaw dropped low as he had just seen Naruto handily dispatch his right-hand man. A clicking sound brought him back into awareness as he saw Jiraiya holding a camera. That's a good one. Orochimaru gritted his teeth. Such power. He's too dangerous to leave alive. I have to kill him here before he gets too strong. Orochimaru flew off of the snakes at Naruto. Jiraiya tried stopping him but was tossed aside. Tsunade's drug had yet to wear off. As he launched himself at Naruto, his sword, Kusanagi, emerged from his mouth. Naruto's back was turned to the murderous Sannin as he closed in, sword out and about. As he was talking to Tsunade, his senses went off and he drew his sword, turning around in the nick of time just to block Orochimaru's strike. Naruto's eyes widened as he realized just who he was crossing blades with. Orochimaru team, nice to see you again. He noticed the arms of Orochimaru. The old man really did a number on you back in Konoha, didn't he? Orochimaru hissed at the boy as he pushed against him. Just die, boy. You'll ruin my plans for the future. He pulled back and began slashing at Naruto, who held up his defenses, slowly backing up due to his surprising strength. Naruto tried to strike back, but Orochimaru showed traits reminiscent of his summons as he dodged Naruto's attacks. Naruto had to take great care as he slipped around Orochimaru's strikes. Even a scratch from the legendary weapon could poison him, a tactic that Naruto had to somewhat respect, a good way to ensure victory for sure. And Orochimaru knew how to use it, even from his mouth. As the clang of steel on steel went on, Orochimaru landed a kick to his body, sending him flying back next to Tsunade. Naruto gave her a reassuring grin. Don't worry, Bar-chan. I'll get rid of this guy and then I'll be dragging you back to Konoha, just sit tight. Tsunade gasped at the sight of the blonde's grinning face. He looks just like Nawaki. She took notice of Orochimaru hovering over him. Orochimaru thrusted downwards with his sword. Naruto barely blocked the point of the sword with the flat of his own. Naruto struggled against Orochimaru as the murderous intent in Orochimaru's eyes blazed. Suddenly a fist was implanted into Orochimaru's face, sending him flying a few feet back. Naruto blinked as he was pulled to his feet by the woman who was just on the ground watching him. Bar-chan. Tsunade was staring out intently at Orochimaru. Are you okay, brat? Naruto nodded dumbly. Yeah, Ba-chan, I'm just fine. She smirked at him in response. Good, because I owe you a serious beatdown for all of this, Ba-chan, crap you're spouting. Realization then covered her face. Oh yeah. She took off her necklace and placed it on Naruto. You win, kid. You've beaten me fair and square and I'm an honest woman. Orochimaru stood up and cracked his jaw back into place as he glared out at Tsunade. Tsunade, what do you think you're doing? Why would you put your life at risk just to assist a brat like that? Tsunade cracked her knuckles. I would risk my life because I am Tsunade Senju, granddaughter of the Shodai Hokage, grandniece of the Nadaime Hokage, and as of today I am the Godaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato. Naruto and Shizune appeared at her side. You tell him, Ba-chan. Now let's kick his ass and go home already. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto landed by his side and drew more blood down Orochimaru's summon tattoo to call upon another summon. Naruto blanched as he saw Kabuto still moving. What? I ripped him apart. He should be dead. Naruto. Naruto rushed off to Jiraiya's side to summon for him. Bring out Gamabunta. Naruto nodded and summoned for him and Jiraiya. Tsunade followed suit and summoned her own boss creature. As three massive puffs of smoke went up across the landscape, the smoke cleared to reveal a massive snake, slug, and toad, all looking at one another. Gamabunta let out a puff of smoke from his pipe. Well, if it isn't Manda and Katsuyu. How long's it been since I've seen you two? Jiraiya looked down from where he and Naruto were standing on his head. Bunta, we need your help for this one. So are you in? Gamabunta let out another puff from his pipe. Sure, why not? I guess now I can finally get that snakeskin wallet I've been wanting. Naruto smirked. What would a giant toad want with a snakeskin wallet anyway? Naruto looked over at Kabuto standing on Manda next to Orochimaru. I swear that Rasengan should have killed him. I hit him dead on. I splattered his innards all over my face and everything. Jiraiya looked at Naruto momentarily. If he's anything like his master, then he's a bastard to kill. Don't worry, kid, we're settling up right now. Tsunade looked out at Orochimaru from atop Katsuyu. This is it, Orochimaru. After this there will be one less Sannin in the world. Orochimaru simply chuckled while Manda hissed under him. Orochimaru. What do you think you're doing summoning me out here? Kabuto tried to calm the massive snake down. Manda, we just. Silence, whelp. I won't bother speaking to a flunky like you. Manda turned angry eyes to the top of his head. When this is over I'll be expecting over 100 sacrifices. Orochimaru smirked. Of course. Nothing less for you, Manda. Kabuto let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Thank goodness. If Manda knew Orochimaru-sama couldn't use jutsu, he might just eat us. Jiraiya patted Naruto on the head. All right, kid, it's deadly serious now. Stay out of things unless I say otherwise. Even if you think you see an opening, it's probably a feint. Naruto snorted and slapped Jiraiya's hand from his head. I'm aware of the level of this fight, Ero Sennin. And I'm also not stupid enough to fall for any half-assed feints. As far as I'm concerned, I'm your trump card if anything. Jiraiya looked at Naruto in a confused manner. How so, Gaki? Naruto smirked. Think about it. Orochimaru can't use his arms to use jutsu. Kabuto and Shizune don't really have any long-range jutsu. You and I are the only ones that can fire stuff from a distance, and I can make an ungodly amount of cage bunshin, making tons of cannon fodder potential attackers. I'm your ace in the hole here. Jiraiya chuckled. Well, I guess that's one thing about you that didn't change. You always want to be in the fight. Naruto scratched his head. Yeah, I guess it's in my blood or something. Jiraiya patted Gamabunta on the head. Let's go, Bunta. Gamabunta drew his tanto and rushed at Manda, who slithered away rapidly, surprising Naruto. Damn. That big-ass snake is ridiculously fast. Manda moved to Gamabunta's blind spot and attempted to bite down on him, poisonous fangs glistening in the sunlight. Gamabunta jumped aside in time to dodge the strike and hopped away. Katsuyu moved in and launched acid from her mouth at Manda. Once again showing deceptive speed, Manda slipped away and rushed Gamabunta. The boss toad lifted his sword to block Manda's bite, but with a swing of his tail he knocked the sword out of Gamabunta's webbed hands. Katsuyu launched more acid out at Manda, but he dodged before it could hit. Manda rushed over to Katsuyu and began constricting her. Tsunade noticed her boss summon in dire straits. Katsuyu, separate. The massive slug did as commanded and broke off into tons of smaller forms, disorienting Manda, who had been wrapped around her at the time. Jiraiya and Gamabunta decided to take advantage of the momentary advantage given to them. Gamabunta jumped back to gain some space while Jiraiya on his head went through hand signs. Gamabunta, give me some oil. Gamabunta spat out a glob of oil as Jiraiya held his fingers to his mouth to make a fireball. Kaiten, Gamayu Enden, fire release, toad oil flame bullet. The massive fire stream that followed engulfed Manda, seemingly melting his figure, however it revealed to simply be a snakeskin. Manda then burst from the ground behind Gamabunta. Naruto, who had been sitting back the entire time, saw this and whipped through hand signs. Fuyuten, Fujin Seiken, wind release, divine fist of the wind god. Naruto shot out a double-fisted punch at Manda, who recoiled with the markings of fists on his face. Manda hissed as he coiled himself up, the stinging marks still evident. Little fucking brat. Jiraiya grinned at the shot Naruto had taken at the powerful summon until he blinked. Wait. Where's Tsunade? Right on cue, Tsunade flew at Manda, holding Gamabunta's tanto and slammed the blade through his mouth, pinning him to the ground. Naruto's eyes widened at the feat of strength. Ero Sennin, remind me to never pull the crap that I tried when I first met Bar-chan ever again. Jiraiya patted his head. Well, first of all, calling her Bar-chan is just asking for it. Naruto scoffed, that's pushing it. If I won't stop calling you Ero Sennin, then how can she stop me from calling her Bar-chan? Super strength beatdown be damned. Tsunade ran up Manda's body and began pummeling Orochimaru while Kabuto's attention was held by Shizune. Naruto sweat dropped at the sight of the snake Sannin taking such a beating. Why, you think we should jump in or something? Jiraiya had his telescope out with a stupid grin on his face. Nah. Tsunade's got it, kid. Naruto's eye twitched as the fight persisted. No, I mean for Orochimaru. His facial structure has to be liquidated by now. Kami, let it be known that the guy can take one hell of a punch if nothing else. He can't even get up a guard to block. That sucks. Tsunade sent him flying with one last massive shot. Kabuto rushed to his side and picked him up. Orochimaru glared out at Tsunade. Damn you, Tsunade, my plans have failed for now. Do not think this is over, there is still another way to heal my arms, and the next time, I'll kill you both. With that being said, he and Kabuto sunk into the earth to make their escape. Naruto, Jiraiya, and Shizune appeared next to her as all of the summons had long since dispersed. Jiraiya slapped Naruto on the shoulder. Good job, brat. A high-level fight like this is over and you aren't an ugly red smudge on the landscape. Naruto sighed and rolled his shoulder. No respect? I don't get no respect at all. Shizune smiled and kissed him on the cheek. I respect you, Naruto-kun. Naruto chuckled in disbelief and shook his head with a slight smile on his face, and that somehow made this day of bullshit somewhat worth it. Thank you, Shizune-chan. Tsunade smirked as she walked over to Naruto. Well then, brat. You won the bet, got the necklace, and now we're going back to Konoha. What are we going to do now? Naruto stood still in thought for a moment before turning on his heel and heading back to town. He waved over his shoulder as he walked away. We just got through fighting Orochimaru and I've been training non-stop for about a week. I'm going to go sleep like the dead. You guys can go do whatever the hell you want. The amassed adults had a chuckle as they heard Naruto grumbling about Kabuto's blood being all in his clothes. Tsunade shook her head at his retreating figure. He's going to be a fine man one day. And perhaps a fine Hokage too. Jiraiya put a hand on her shoulder. You don't know the half of it. A lecherous grin came upon his face. Now that that's all done, a woman like you can't be seen in clothes with blood all over them. That's a travesty. It should be a dress or nothing. Luckily for you, I happen to have no dress back in my room. Naruto could only shake his head as the sounds of a solid thwack, followed by Jiraiya flying overhead towards town, rang out. The walk back to Konoha had been entirely uneventful, and this is what terrified Jiraiya more than anything else. Naruto had said no more than 5 sentences to him over the course of the trip home. And whenever he did, it was simply business. He spoke to Tsunade and Shizune on a regular basis. He had gotten along quite well with Tsunade's dark-haired attendant, go figure. But whenever Jiraiya would try to jump into the conversations, Naruto would either end them, or simply box him out. Apparently he had been telling the truth and no just shooting the shit when they started. He would be professional because they were on a mission, and now that it was all but over, Jiraiya was starting to see just how Naruto was feeling about him. Upon their arrival in Konoha, they all headed up to the Hokage Tower to get Tsunade introduced and situated, grilling by the Sandaim's old advisors included. Konohamaru didn't really take kindly to someone replacing his grandfather's position, so he holed himself up inside the office, barring entry with traps and blocking the door. Somehow he ended up keeping people out all day long. Upon being informed by Konohamaru's friends, Udon and Mogi, Naruto just walked up. Sparta kicked the heavy oaken door off of the hinges, sending all of the stuff behind it flying, walked through the office using the door to block all of Konohamaru's traps, and dragged the kid out by his collar. He chose to do this himself because he knew Tsunade would have done roughly the same thing if she really wanted to get into the office, and she might not have been so nice about it. Naruto took Konohamaru to the top of the Hokage Tower and sat him down to talk. So, what the hell is wrong with you, kid? Naruto got a tick mark on his head when Konohamaru clammed up and pulled his knees to his chest. Okay, you can either tell me and we can talk this out, or I'll just do like my trainer did for me when I was a kid and beat the crap out of you until you forget why you're all mopey in the first place. Konohamaru paled when a mild amount of killing intent began leaking out of Naruto. What happened to you, boss? You've been different since the Chunin exams. Naruto sighed. It's a long story, and because I know what's wrong with you, it might make you even more pissed off than you already are, for one reason or another. Now don't change the subject. What's your malfunction today? Konohamaru snapped at him. I thought you already knew. Naruto answered back snippily. I do, I just want to hear it from you. Facing up to your own problems is the first step towards moving past them. Konohamaru looked up with tears in his eyes. What if I don't want to move past them? I don't want to move past my grandfather, boss. Naruto stayed silent and let Konohamaru speak. Everyone is moving on, going forward with everything. It's like he was never here, he was the Hokage boss. And everyone's going to forget about him. Naruto steeled himself. He really didn't feel like touching anything that involved Sarutobi with a 10-foot pole right then, but this kid needed him, and being a ninja means doing things that you don't want to for the greater good. Look, Konohamaru, he was the Hokage for many years, longer than anybody else, he had a long reign, and he's done so much for this place. I'm sure everybody has a standout memory of him. Naruto then grumbled under his breath, Kami knows that I do. Naruto shook off that dark line of thinking. The point is that someone that has touched so many people can never truly just disappear. Trust me, brat, chances are that they'll be talking about him long after we're dead. You can go up to just about any of the ninja in this place and the majority of the civilians, and they can probably give you some stories. Konohamaru started drying his eyes. What about you, boss? What kind of stories do you have of Grandpa? Naruto held back a frown. I don't think you're old enough to hear about my story of the old man. Maybe one day I can tell you, but it's better that I don't right now. Naruto patted Konohamaru on the head. Do you feel better now? Konohamaru nodded. Are you going to cry a bitch around me again anytime soon? Konohamaru shook his head. Good. Naruto picked the kid up and sent him off on his way. He made his way back to Tsunade's office where she had a mass of chunin picking up the mess left by Naruto going hard on the door. Seated behind what was soon to be her desk, she smirked upon seeing the young shinobi enter. Nice mess, Gaki. Why did you kick my door? Naruto raised an eyebrow. 2 reasons. You would have done it yourself eventually, and, honestly, I've wanted to do that for years. That just gave me an excuse. Naruto took a seat as the last of the mess was cleaned and the door was put back. Tsunade took on a business face when the door was shut. So what's going on with you and Jiraiya? You weren't speaking to him at all on the way back. Naruto locked eyes with the older blonde. Are you sure you want to hear this? It's not something really vital for you to know. And I'm also pretty sure it's a village secret, probably above me being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Tsunade's eyes widened momentarily before she smirked. Well, I'm going to be Hokage now, right? What's a village leader without a few dark little secrets? Naruto chuckled. Get comfortable because you're going to be sitting there for a while asking me questions and stuff. Tsunade frowned and pulled a bottle of sake from the desk. Naruto's sweat dropped. Wow, you certainly stashed that quickly, didn't you? Tsunade scoffed as she pulled out a cup. It's not mine, smartass. Sarutobi-sensei left it there before I ever even got here. Naruto sharply inhaled breath. That's right, the old man did train you 3 twisted Sannin, didn't he? That might make this an uncomfortable conversation. He snapped his head around. No Anbu guards. Tsunade shrugged. I'm not Hokage yet, kid. I still have to get through coronation first. It's just us for now. Naruto kept silent as he thoroughly checked the room before he looked to Tsunade once more. So did Ero-Sennin tell you anything about me? Tsunade nodded. What do you know? Tsunade poured herself a cup. Other than the stuff that I already knew, he let me in on your base character and stuff. Apparently he left out the scary battle phase part. Naruto clenched his hands together as he set his chin on them. That's because he didn't know about it. I didn't used to be a goofy loud fuck up until a few years ago. I was more like I am now, calm, collected, focused, and I had something of a mean streak too. Tsunade looked confused. So your personality changed. How is this a secret? Naruto shook his head. It's not that my personality evolved, it's how it evolved. Haven't you noticed that I'm too good for my own good at fighting? I shouldn't have been able to stop Orochimaru's surprise attack on me back in Tanzakugai if I was just a genin, hell, even a chunin. I was spamming jutsus that I shouldn't know how to do and fighting on par with a Junin level ninja. Tsunade flashed back to all of the things he had done since she had met him, and then she realized. Flashback, Tsunade's eyes drifted over to him. So who's the brat Jiraiya? Jiraiya looked at Naruto, who was wearing an unreadable expression, minus the twitching. This is Naruto Uzumaki, my new apprentice. Naruto's eyebrows shot up. Apprentice? Since when? Jiraiya smirked at the boy. Since you signed the Toad contract before the invasion, kid. Congratulations. Naruto grumbled and placed his face on his hands. Great, the guy that locked away my strength and skill wants to make amends and teach me how to fight again. Kabuto pointed at him accusingly. No way. From what I've seen and from the information on you, you're nothing. A low-level genin. Naruto chuckled. Well, that's what the Konoha records had on one Kabuto Yakushi also, if you'll recall. We all know how that turned out, right, Mr. Spy? If you were capable of it, then why wouldn't I be? I didn't even have to join any ranks and keep suspicion off like you did. All I had to do was not get caught. Naruto tapped his finger on his head. I had the plans for your invasion all up here way back then. Every move you had planned out over the long term was all up here. All of your bases, the info that was listed on your cursed seal, the true nature of Orochimaru's immortality jutsu, it's all here. The only reason your invasion had even half of a chance of even getting off of the ground was because of some unfortunate business that ended with me getting my memory and abilities sealed off before I could tell the necessary people. End flashback. Tsunade looked at Naruto and locked eyes with him, taking note of the scar over his right eye and how he was patiently waiting for the point to hit her. There was something done to you back then, and Jiraiya was the one who did it. Naruto smiled faintly. You're half right. Ero-Sennin was the one who sealed me, but it was ordered by another. Sarutobi Gigi really screwed me over back then. Tsunade's jaw was hanging. Sarutobi sensei. Why? What happened to force him to seal you off? Naruto's eyes blazed over angrily. Nothing happened to force him to seal me. I was injured during a covert mission. Ero-Sennin said he found me and brought me to the old man where they found out it was me. Apparently they thought I was some kind of threat, too strong for my age to be left alone. They didn't even wait for me to regain consciousness before they took me and locked away my strength and speed, my skills, my jutsu, my knowledge, everything. Tsunade was enthralled with the story. So what happened then? Why did the seal break? Did one of them take it off? Naruto shook his head. I had my mind regressed back to the time when I was 4 years old. For all intents and purposes, I had to learn things like how to read all over again. I was mentally behind everybody else in the academy and everything. I broke the seal during the invasion, and since then it's been a matter of picking up the pieces and relearning everything. Those 3 jutsu that I used against Kabuto, I have tons of those were just the ones that I had the time to relearn, not even master. Tsunade still had a question. Why did Sarutobi-sensei do it? Why did he think you were dangerous? Naruto leaned back in his chair. I can't tell you that. It would be a matter of total betrayal. It's not like it's that good of a secret, but let Ero-Sennin be the one to tell you. I'm technically not even supposed to exist if you catch my drift. Tsunade nodded. One more thing. Where do you think you rank in the overall roster of my active shinobi? Naruto shrugged. How should I know? It's not like I've fought any of them to find out or anything. Naruto pointed out at her suddenly. But fuck being a genin though. You know damn well I'm better than that. Anything other than that will do right now. Tsunade smiled at him, noted. Now get out of my office. You're the only real ninja from this village that I've actually gotten to meet yet. She put away the sake and shooed him off. When he was out of sight, she called out loudly, "Shizune, call a meeting for me for all ninja the rank of Chunin and over after the coronation. We have so business to sort out." Naruto sat on his bed back in his apartment. He had decided to stop looking for Danzo. If Danzo wanted to see him, he could easily find him. It's not like it was hard anymore. He didn't need anyone to sort the whole mess out anymore, meaning that honestly there was no reason to look for Danzo. His original goal was to be a ninja for Konoha. Sarutobi had proverbially blocked one path with a boulder, but instead of complaining that the way had been blocked, Naruto had followed the path the boulder had taken to find a completely new destination, to find his own way towards becoming one. Danzo had never made it a secret that he thought of Naruto as a tool, an expendable soldier. While Naruto had more value than most if not all of his other operatives, when your house burns down you don't grab the stuff inside, you just run, and when Naruto was caught on the job and exposed, Danzo had to wash his hands of him. It was all he could have done. Give them Naruto and cut your losses, the only thing a man like Danzo doing the things he was doing had as an option. He knew Jiraiya would be confronted by Tsunade about sealing him. He knew he'd tell her what he and Sarutobi had learned about NE, and try to color her opinion. But honestly, loyalty only went so far as Naruto was concerned, and being blacklisted by NE pretty much got rid of his loyalty. If you don't want me, I don't need you, was the way he saw it. The best Danzo would get from him at this point was him keeping his mouth shut about NE, which was all he was going to do in the first place. Jiraiya's arrogance in his own ability to gather information kept him from ever asking Naruto what he knew about NE, thinking that Naruto had been a young flunky and didn't have much information. It's always fun to have preconceived notions, isn't it? Not really smart though. Naruto knew quite a bit. He had been trained by Danzo almost personally and had information given to him by the man himself. No misdirection necessary. Naruto would never have broken to torture. It had been made sure of and tested thoroughly because Danzo never placed the seal, ensuring he would be quiet about any on him. Therefore Danzo told him things. Everybody needs at least one confidant. But that was not important either. He was now a Konoha ninja, no longer in NE. He answered to another higher up and belonged to their forces now. Naruto groaned as he sat up in a meditative position. The last thought he had before slipping into his own mind was that he was still a weapon. He had just been lost and collected by another. Naruto opened his eyes to reveal himself standing at the door of his own apartment. Naruto sighed. Well, it's better than a sewer, I guess. He opened the door and walked through his mindscape apartment to find a dog-sized fox with 9 tails and a collar asleep on what was supposed to be his bed, obviously the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi's ears twitched as he drew closer and it sat its head up to let out a vulpine yawn. Hello, Kit. I have to say, it's a major improvement over the sewer. Naruto sat on the bed next to the fox and looked over at the awakening Biju. I can see you're enjoying it. It's still not as cool as it used to be though. If I want to see my own apartment then I sure as hell wouldn't come in here. The fox growled in comfort as Naruto shook his head with a faint smirk. So is my mind good enough to broker out the old deal again or what? Kyuubi cracked open an eye and stood to walk over to Naruto. Well, since I can make physical contact with you again, we can do this right now. Anything you want to add? Anything you didn't like? You want to get rid of the trigger? Naruto raised his eyebrow. No, I like the trigger. Hell no, we're keeping that. That was always cool. Keep that. Also, you can still see and feel everything I do. You can talk to me, but I can still mute you. Spoil sport. Kyuubi butted Naruto with its muzzle. Naruto kept reeling off deals. I get to retrain using your chakra, and I have to get ridiculously strong again, per the first agreement. I still have to kick the guy that helped the Yondaime come up with the seal that imprisoned you in me in the balls, and I think I'll enjoy doing that more than you will. Am I forgetting anything? Kyuubi scratched behind its ears. No, not really. If you want to make another deal or something, I'm always open to negotiations, remember that, Kit. And don't wait too long to use the trigger, you know I always like that move. Naruto stood up and let the Kyuubi lay back down on the bed. Alright, I'm gone. Later, you lazy ass fox. Kyuubi batted one of its tails in acknowledgement as Naruto left the apartment mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes and sat up to reveal the hazy outline of the sun outside. Damn it, did I black out until morning? Naruto shakily stood up and went into his bathroom to help wake himself up. As he was brushing his teeth, a knock came at his window. Spitting and rinsing his mouth, he then walked over to the window in his bedroom, revealing an Anbu in a bear mask. Kuma-san. I must have slept through Tsunade Barkan's coronation rite. The Anbu nodded. Tsunade-sama wishes for you to meet her at the tower immediately. Naruto nodded. Sure thing, just let me change clothes and then I'll go. The Anbu used Shunshin to disappear from sight as Naruto shut his window. Upon changing and leaving his house, Naruto was once again subjected to the usual looks of disdain and scorn from the villagers. Naruto went through a mental checklist as he walked towards the tower. I'm gonna get that guy, that bitch is screwed. Oh, that guy is getting fucked when I get free time. Naruto had not lost his luster for pranks, and seeing as how he needed to vent on someone anyway, why not take it out on the people that dislike you regardless? As he arrived in the tower, he found the same Anbu from his house standing in front of the door of Tsunade's office. Hokage-sama is waiting inside, Uzumaki-san. Naruto nodded and entered. Naruto found the office filled wall to wall with many of Konoha's high-level ninja. Naruto sauntered, pushed, slid, and mashed his way through until he reached Tsunade's desk. You wanted to see me, Bart-chan? Tsunade glared at Naruto as she heard snickering coming from the back. Yes, brat. I asked for you to come today so that I could get a general idea of your promotion. I've asked these Junin here because they must know more of what you're capable of than I do. Naruto snorted. Yeah, right. Tsunade opened the floor for the others to voice their opinion on Naruto. Needless to say, most had nothing too flattering to say about the blonde. The only thing most said that was actually good was that he had high reserves, and then the compliments dropped off sharply. Naruto could only stand silently and pondering. That guy's getting it, that guy's getting it. Oh hell no. He called me what? That guy's getting fucked. Meanwhile, the QB was doing some musing of its own. You could kill that guy, you could kill that guy, what the hell? That guy wouldn't last more than 5 seconds against you. How is he getting a say in this? Kurenai then stepped forward to take her turn. Naruto has high chakra reserves and stamina, which lend themselves to him well when he uses Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Other than that, and an ability to think on his feet, however, I cannot give him a good grade in the other facets of being a shinobi. He is usually reckless and quick to act before thinking. He has poor chakra control due to such high reserves. His taijutsu has almost no true form. He has no aptitude for genjutsu, and other than his aforementioned Kage Bunshin, he has no true ninjutsu to speak of. In the back, Iruka had to grit his teeth hearing all of these people speak about Naruto as if he was a burden on the program. Asuma pretty much agreed to the same thing, leaving Naruto looking around. Where the hell is Kakashi? Shouldn't someone have my back in here? Asuma looked at Naruto. Good luck with that, kid. Kakashi isn't going to show for this until we're 3 hours in. Naruto felt like slamming his head into something, a person or inanimate object. It didn't really matter to him. Tsunade noticed that everyone was done with their opinions and looked to Naruto. Well, we've heard from everyone else, Naruto, so what about you? Do you have anything to say about what you've been told today? You have the floor. Tsunade shivered as a dark grin came upon Naruto's face. He turned to face all of his superiors. Well, speaking personally, fuck you all. As the jaws dropped of everyone in the room, Naruto began walking around the room. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, not you, Iruka-sensei, you didn't say a thing. But yeah, basically, fuck everyone with no real input or a true perspective based on real knowledge. He continued walking around the room. You say my jutsu list is pitiful. Did you ever know if anyone tried to teach me any? Have you ever seen me fight other than the one time against Neji? You say my control is shoddy. Well, if you have enough chakra to make upwards of 1000 Kage Bunshin, then I'd love to see you try and keep it up to snuff. You say my taijutsu sucks. Come and fight me and find out just how bad at it I am. Having an aptitude at genjutsu is kind of hard without someone teaching it to you, isn't it? All of you love to talk about how much you've heard that I suck to make you feel better about your own teams, but none of you have even the slightest idea of what I'm capable of, and while I kind of like that sometimes, right now it's really starting to piss me off. Naruto finished and sat on Tsunade's desk calmly. I can see you all have something to say. So go ahead and say it. The room exploded with Junin and Chunin yelling at Naruto for his disrespect and begging Tsunade to discipline him. Naruto turned to look at Tsunade and shrugged when he saw her massaging her temple. Well, you said I had the floor. That means I can say whatever I want. Tsunade sighed in resignment. I suppose I dug my own grave on that one. Asuma calmly stared Naruto down. Do you really think you're ready for a promotion, kid? You didn't come off as a world beater during the Chunin exams. Naruto scoffed, whatever, and I suppose you'd rather have someone like Shikamaru be promoted than instead of me. Asuma blinked. Actually yes, he showed great strategic thinking and combat savvy. Naruto rolled his eyes. Yeah, and what will he do when he ends up going against someone that can flat out overpower him and disrupt his plans? He's just lucky Temari got caught up in playing his game. If she really wanted to kill him, she could have just ripped the tree he was hiding in up by the roots with her wind jutsu and crushed him. Hell, I could beat Shikamaru. As a matter of fact, I could beat your entire team if I had to. He looked at Kurenai. I could beat everyone on your team. Hell, I beat Kiba with my chakra and reflexes disrupted an hour after finishing the second stage of the exams with no downtime. Naruto shrugged. You know what? As a matter of fact, I could probably beat Guy's team too. I already beat Neji. Rock Lee's hurt, and if he ever recovers will need rehab before he could step to me. And Tenten, I'll beat her the way Temari did if she hasn't learned anything new. And don't even get me started on my team. Those teams are apparently the best, which means that there isn't a single goddamn genin in this entire village that can beat me. Tsunade spoke up before they all broke into another uproar. That's quite a statement, brat. Care to back that up with action? Naruto smirked at Tsunade. Do you really want me to put 10 of your genin in the hospital? You sure you can spare that kind of manpower? Tsunade couldn't help but return the smirk Naruto was giving her. Fine then. In 1 week you will fight Asuma's, Kurenai's, and Guy's genin, in addition to the ones on your own team. If you can adequately impress, then you'll be promoted to Chunin. She spoke again as Naruto opened his mouth. We'll handle anything further if you can get a promotion from this test. Kurenai spoke up. Hokage-sama, you can't be serious. I don't know of any genin that can take on 3 other genin teams, let alone a rookie and the dead last of this year's graduates. Asuma nodded in agreement. The kid has never shown anything special. What makes you think that something like this is necessary? Ibiki stepped forward, having kept silent the entire time. This dead last, as you so eloquently put it, captured the Kazekage's children and took out an entire squad of Oto shinobi that had our own forces pinned down during the Suna Oto invasion. He at least deserves the chance to prove something to all of you that can't see past the titles that you all gave him in the first place. Naruto smiled. Note to self, do not bomb scare Ibiki with horrible, guerrilla warfare-ass pranks. Tsunade nodded. Thank you, Ibiki. She looked out at the other amassed ninja. I have personally seen this boy face down Orochimaru's spy Kabuto Yakushi and come out on top. He even went head to head with Orochimaru himself and helped me and Jiraiya fight him off. If he is what you call a dead last, then I'm glad that you didn't determine the skill levels back when I was a genin, or else I would probably still be one. Naruto looked at Tsunade. So are we done? Because I would love to go and vent my frustrations right now. This entire meeting has pissed me right the fuck off. Tsunade sighed. Language, brat. And yes, that was all I needed. Be at the Chunin exam stadium at 10 a.m. next Monday for your fights. Naruto nodded and bowed to her before moving to open and jump out the window to begin racing along the rooftops. As soon as he left, the office broke into a smattering of talk. Mostly centered around the audacity of Naruto and how that demon brat was going to get slaughtered next week. Tsunade finally got fed up with it all. Silence. What does this look like? The Junin lounge. Get out. As they began to leave, she called, Asuma, Kurenai, Guy, you 3 stay. They did as was told. The rules for the test will be roughly that he will fight each genin 1 by 1. The other rules will be given on the day of the test. You can all get together to determine the order in which you want them to fight. You all need to inform your teams of my decision for next week. Prepare them well, trust me, they'll need every bit of training they can get. Asuma looked skeptical. It's just 1 genin, Tsunade-sama. Even if we don't train them, he couldn't possibly beat more than 2 in a row. Tsunade gave up and shrugged. It's your team, Asuma, you can do whatever you feel you should with them. They're your responsibility. You're all dismissed. Naruto ran along the rooftops back to his home when a familiar presence landed behind him. Sasuke team, you're out of the hospital, I see. Sasuke glared at Naruto's back. Fight me, Dobe. Dobe, huh? Naruto didn't turn to face him. You can fight me in a week like everybody else. Sasuke looked at him in confusion. Like everybody else? What are you talking about? Naruto shook his head. Go find Kakashi and ask him. And while you're at it, tell him I'm not going on any missions with you all until the week is up, maybe. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of leaves, leaving Sasuke alone on the roof. He knows Shunshin. What have I been missing while I was in the hospital? How strong are you, Dobe? Naruto once again sat in his apartment meditating silently when his eyes snapped open and he flung a kunai just in time for a puff to go off in his house. Naruto, you should really be more careful with these things. Kakashi appeared holding the kunai as the smoke faded. You do know that we need to talk, right? Naruto motioned for Kakashi to have a seat as the white-haired man did as directed. Naruto had moved to a more comfortable position on the ground to sit. So what do you need, Kakashi? Kakashi-sensei. Naruto. Kakashi finished with an ice smile. Naruto snorted. The last person I called sensei actually taught me stuff. Go ahead and ask your question. Did Sasuke team talk to you yet? Kakashi sighed. Yes, and I've also heard from Hokage-sama about your test. Naruto, do you really think this is a good idea? Do you truly believe that you're ready for such a promotion? I mean, I can see that you've finally dropped the orange and that scar on you is a new touch, but it takes more than that to be a Chunin. Naruto smirked. Then it's a good thing that I'll end up being more than a Chunin when this is all over then, huh? Kakashi's eye widened. You can't be serious. Naruto gazed at Kakashi seriously. I'm dead serious. I'm no Genin level ninja, I wouldn't even call myself Chunin. Doing all of this kiddie crap has dulled my edge. When you're systematically fed garbage, that's what you eventually become, garbage. Kakashi was confused by the whole turn of events here. He expected to simply admonish Naruto for such a brazen act of disrespect, get him to cancel his test and be done with it, but the trend with Naruto these days seemed to be getting more questions and problems than answers and solutions. Naruto, what are you saying? All Genin have to go through missions like the ones you take, we've been over this. Naruto chuckled. Go and talk to Bar-chan, or even Ero-sennin about my skill level, and listen to what they say. They've both got the closest inkling to what I can really do more than anyone, and the truth is, I'm not even as good as I should be. At first I thought it was just a work in progress, that if I just trained like I used to that it would come back to me, but I recently realized something. Naruto clenched his fists. I realized just how fucked up I am when I fought Kabuto when we went to go get Bar-chan. I was talking to the guy, instead of just running through him and moving on to more important matters. I was casually engaging him like it was a game, like we weren't both there to kill each other instead of me running through him like a buzzsaw, which was what I should have done. I should have been killed first, ask questions later. I realized this when I noted that he had gotten back up from the Rasengan. Naruto pointed out the window at Konoha. It's this place. When I was little that never would have happened, I would have just killed him and moved along. This place's arrogance rubs off on you. The academy stresses stealth, but apparently stealth isn't good enough for a Konoha ninja once they graduate, seeing as how I've yet to actually meet one that actively uses it in fights. Kakashi took offense to that. Naruto, Konohas will have fire stresses protecting your fellow villagers and comrades above all else. The way you speak of combat, someone would be left out and could get injured. Do you not remember my first lesson to you? Naruto scoffed. More like your only lesson, but who's counting? Yes, Kakashi, but sometimes a weapon can protect better from the shadows than out in the light. You all specialize in open area fighting. You all are just glorified samurai with special techniques for the most part. Naruto sighed and stood when he felt Kakashi's glare on him. Fine, nothing I say is going to make you change the way you think, so I'll just use the week off that I told you I was going to take. Naruto grabbed the weapons and items he sealed in his scrolls, his sword, and headed towards the door. Kakashi noted that he looked like he was going on a mission. Naruto, where are you going? Naruto looked back at him, a smile faintly playing on his lips. I'm going to get something very important to me back. Don't even bother to try and look for me either. If you want to talk to me, leave a message here or wait until I get back in on Monday to try to speak to me. Naruto stopped at the door before shutting it. You can try to find me, but you'll just be wasting your time, because if you can actually find me, then this week was a waste. Naruto shut his door, leaving one confused scarecrow inside. 1 week later, every single solitary soul in Konohagakure no Sato was on edge and watching around every corner for their own safety. It seemed like the prankster of hell had returned with a fiery vengeance, only no one could prove it was him this time. The pranks over the course of 5 days were reminiscent of the days of yore, but only cranked up substantially for a select few others. Day 1, it was quiet. Nothing really happened to anyone on this day with the exception of one lone pervert at the hot springs, who was stripped, tied up, and had pervert spray painted on him before being thrown inside of the woman's baths. Oddly enough, he was already crying about his testicles before the women even laid a finger on him in retribution. Day 2 was noted by a coded message sent out to the Hokage stating intent to pester and disorient the village into oblivion. It stated that she was not a victim, and to handle this like she would anything else, so she simply pulled out a bottle of sake and went about her day. The first true shots were fired early that morning, however, when the owners of stores and restaurants in the villages inexplicably found their stock and inventory switched out with each other, everything, even the stuff in storage and lock-up. Restaurants found food switched with clothing, leather, and other goods needed to make clothes. Shinobi outfitters found their weaponry and armor replaced with flowers or canned goods. The entire day for them was spent figuring out who had what from whose store. Needless to say, the Merchants Guild had more work to do on this day than any other. The walls of the hot springs separating the men's and women's sides were blown down randomly during the day, much to one side's delight and the other's chagrin. The academy had their targets' bullseyes packed to the brim with mass amounts of kunai and shuriken stuck to them. Inside each classroom had the definition of stealth written on each chalkboard, and each student's seat had a handwritten and copied pamphlet on how to develop true sneaking skills. No teacher at the school's desk was free of nasty trappage, ranging from silly string, to stink bombs, to paint and glitter mini cannons, with the exception of one Aruka Yumino who had a sealed, steaming bowl of ramen within his chopsticks helpfully included. Day 3, at 5 p.m. in the evening, the Junin lounge had been riddled with pranks. At the lounge, the common area refrigerator was filled with urine samples swiped from the hospital, replacing all of the things that had been stored within. Starch was injected into the couch cushions, making them hard, lumpy, and uncomfortable. A space heater had been hidden in all 4 corners of the room, eventually making the room stiflingly hot, and unfortunately for all who were within at the time, the tops of the ceiling fan blades had been coated in itching powder. Day 4, apparently the prankster had a wild hair up his ass on this day because he was getting ballsy enough to make attempts on the clans of the village. The Inazuka clan kennels were a miserable place to be, as the prankster had swiped a vial of pheromones from the vet's office and let it go within the kennels of the Ninken. The poor Genin squads that were hired that day to walk the dogs were subjected to a sight better left to a twisted nature documentary of some sort. Entire teams were mentally scarred from the scenes. The Aberrane clan was heckled repeatedly for hours by their Kikaichu, repeatedly reacting to a delicious source of chakra being flared on the grounds in different areas randomly and blatantly. When they arrived on the scene to check it out, they couldn't even find the faintest of signatures. The final massive flare-up, however, scared the shit out of them, being something reminiscent of the night the Kyuubi attacked 12 years ago. The Nara clan's deer had all been removed from the grounds and spread out all over Konoha. Now, while the deer were just as easygoing as the clansmen and wouldn't move too far from where they were placed, it was still damn troublesome for the ones sent out to retrieve them. The Hyuga clan grounds ended up having flash bomb traps set up over random areas of mass traffic. Doorways, hallways, the waiting room outside of the clan head's office, all of them and more. Every Hyuga ended up being flashed at least once during the day. Those that thought that activating their Byakugan while roaming the halls to find the bombs before they went off would be a good idea not only failed miserably, they ended up getting it worse that way. The most unnecessary and shining example of overkill that could be provided took place at the Uchiha clan main building where one Sasuke Uchiha resided. From the second his foot hit the floor that day, he instantly tripped a wire that activated a mass of smoke bombs that filled the house room by room. As he went to brush his teeth, he ended up heaving in the toilet due to the fact that his toothpaste had been switched with a tube of raw ground beef. All of Sasuke's shirts had an iron-on emblem of a heart on the front of them, even the undershirts. Seeing this, he scoffed and decided since he was staying at home that day to train, he didn't need a shirt. As he walked into the kitchen, he was blasted with a hidden glitter cannon. Glitter is mother fair, so you just have to imagine this. When he opened his refrigerator door, cologne was dumped on him from above. Now getting pissed off that his attempts to start the day kept ending with some kind of shenanigans, he decided to head outdoors to practice with his kunai. Upon opening his door, he was greeted with a sight that until this moment was something saved for his academy day nightmares. Standing out in front of his house was a sea of fangirls, and much to his horror a few fanboys, gathered from around the village. The day before this occurrence, flyers were put up all over Konoha advertising Sasuke Uchiha hosting a mystery contest of sorts at his home, with the prize, of course, being one day with him alone to do whatever. Now the sight of Sasuke Uchiha stumbling out of his house, smoke billowing behind him, without a shirt, glinting in the sunlight like some sort of new age vampire, coupled with the overwhelming smell of the cologne drenching his frame was, simply put, overkill for the young women there for their Uchiha-sama. Now Sasuke, not being slow on the uptake by any stretch of the imagination, had his Bishonen senses tingling the second he opened the door. And with good reason he took the staring, hungry looks of the females in attendance as his cue to get the hell out of there, taking off in a dead sprint towards town to find a place to hide and lose the raving fangirls. And this is where the cologne came in, because he could run, but smelling like an entire bottle of cheap-ass body spray, he damn sure couldn't hide. And so Konoha was subjected to the sight of Rookie of the Year, the last loyal Uchiha, Sasuke Uchiha, running around town frantically ducking and dodging attempts from other girls to make him theirs and win his love. Day 5, at the limits of their own sanity, nothing really happened on this day, it didn't have to. By now the citizens of the village were so frazzled by their week in hell that they ended up screwing with themselves. Prices in the general stores were dropped to all-time lows in a collaborative effort to lure out the prankster in question who they figured had to restock. They were wrong, and simply ended up getting mobbed all at once by artisans ordering raw materials in bulk after having everything ruined by the prankster, young kids rolling through with pockets full of cash and a sweet tooth, and pretty much everybody in Konoha that liked to take advantage of a good deal. They lost more money than they really made, the prices were so low. The ninja sent to patrol and watch out for suspicious activities were at the end of their rope, so much so that in addition to turning on each other and hatching crackpot theories about whodunit, they had taken to harassing the general public. The bags under their eyes showing that they hadn't gotten any good sleep over this in days. By the end of the reign of terror, the only people not touched by the spree of pranking in some way were Tsunade herself, Shizune, Konohamaru and his 3 friends, the ninja outfitting shop owned by Tenten's family, Tyuki and Ayami Ichiraku, and Iruka Yumino. The final prank was harmless compared to the rest of the week's activities. It consisted of every face on the Hokage monument with wide eyes painted on looking out towards the Chunin exam stadium with stupid grins on their faces, with sundry sweets and refreshments being painted around their faces. Over their heads hung a massive banner stating simply, 10 AM Chunin exam stadium. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.